Oh. Sorry, I was trying to make sure my chat was. I say you were live too. Yeah. Hi. Hi. 1 sec, I don't have you. Now I think they have you. We heard me, but not Nick, I think. All the way down here. One more time. Check again.
H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Hot mic, we are here in Austria. Welcome back to week 6 of racing action after a brief technical difficulty there at the start of Q1 and only, but we are here after a week off again. Thank you very much to Hotspot for filling in last week's race in Australia. Race day, celebrating yet another win on the season down under last week. So we're going to see if he can go back-to-back here in Austria. It's going to be another very fast race, another very technical race. I mean, this is the Red Bull Ring. This is where we ended season 12 in just Hollywood fashion a few weeks ago. So tons of big expectations for the front of the pack here tonight. It's going to be just another dogfight, you can guarantee that.
Yes, and I am meticulously trying to turn off every overlay possible because they all turned on at the start of this race. Technical difficulties abound.
Yeah, no, hey, sometimes it happens. Thank you to Race and Ray for these wonderful overlays, making those available online for us broadcasting streamers. There we can see circuit information for Spielberg, the Red Bull Ring, 10 turns, 79% of the track is going to be full throttle, absolutely ripping through this course. Top speed is going to be 199. Race day going to have to tone it down a little bit around that corner if he wants to keep that throttle open for 79% of his laps, getting that Red Bull honed into to track specs here. Low downforce track and medium tire wear on the screen. So I feel like we were just here a week ago.
It was one of the last graphics that I had made for the thumbnail for YouTube. So it must have been a later one in season 12.
Yeah, it was the final race of season 12.
So 6 races ago? 6 races ago.
Yeah.
About 2 months.
A lot's happened in 2 months.
Yeah, it's I did see drivers talking about the difference between F1 23, F1 24. Very different opinions, but some of them saying that with the changes to downforce, you can carry more speed in the corners in this game, and so they feel that this track's really well suited to it because of these last 2 corners that Tria Coleslaw is going into. Last one in particular here, huge for track limits in real life, and I believe in the last race of last season, because it's very easy to go just a bit over to try and hit that fastest lap, leading to a lot of penalties.
Yeah, these drivers, that is right. Wow, I didn't even think of that. The last time we were on this track was in F123. And, you know, just like F122, like F123, hitting that final corner, turn 10 in Austria here, you're going to see a lot of track limits. Maybe not in qualifying, 10 minutes to go with Gott Palmer in the McLaren, still in provisional pole position right now. But drivers in the race are going to be hitting a lot of track limits, especially drivers who are battling hard to try and make an overtake right before the line as they pass through turn 10. So expect a lot of warning, maybe some time penalties there in turn 10. It's kind of almost inevitable whenever you run in Austria nowadays. Speaking of penalties, we did have a recap from last week regarding, as I vamp trying to scroll down to find the steward findings, there was a case submitted between Nicky and GSR Caesar, where GSR Caesar was alleged to have pushed Nicky off the race line by making a move, leaving Caesar's line to intentionally run Nicky off, closing his window around a corner. That was upheld, and the stewards found Caesar guilty of that very penalty. So a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point was issued for failing to leave space and causing that collision with the wall and then the gravel by Nicky. And then Caesar's also receiving an additional 2 points for failing to provide his point of view video. So overall, 5-second time penalty on the Australian race for GSR Caesar and 3 penalty points. So pretty steep, infraction there last week from GSR Caesar. And I don't think we're going to see GSR Caesar on track today, because as I heard right before we loaded in, he was having internet issues.
Yeah, I think
Edwin
had power issues now, so he might not make it in time, which is going to hurt Mercedes a little bit.
Definitely not going to do them any favors in the standings so far. The standings have changed a little bit. We're going to get into that at the beginning of the race, but Red Bull kind of running away here in week 6, or after week 5. It's kind of starting to run away from the rest of the pack in terms of points. Both drivers and constructors are looking all Red Bull racing right now.
You can't wait to get into that chart, though. The Constructors' Cup is crazy. Outside of Red Bull being 130 points above second place, 2nd through 8th is separated by 48 points total. So, and seeing the Drivers' Championship standings kind of shows that, where you have Red Bull with the 1-3, but then every other team is like 2 and 14, and then 4 and 13, 5 and 10, 6 and 18, like 7 and 11. So it's all very spread out, like one teammate in the top 10, one teammate in the bottom 10.
Well, I mean, like we said, I think the last time we left the league, we were still talking about having a 4th unique winner on the season in just 5 and 4 races. So now that the guys have had time to kind of settle into the pack as it stands for season 13, you're kind of starting to see that pecking order coming through. Race day takes fastest from Gott Palmer, sitting that Red Bull atop in provisional pole with 6.5 to go. You're starting to see those front, mid, and rear packs all kind of establish themselves now. We're getting a big enough sample size, so expected to see that, but at that drastically, this early in the season, like you said, it's like driver A is up in the front, driver B, every driver B is somewhere in the mid to rear. So it's very interesting to see how all of that has played out as just like stark contrast as it is.
And surprised that there's not a ton of separation, because we have had weeks where some drivers couldn't race, like one driver on a team, where we have some substitutions. But I think it's been pretty equal with teams that haven't had a driver show up at least one of the weeks so far. So that's kind of spread some of it around, except, again, for Red Bull just absolutely taking advantage of that.
You gotta share that absentee love. There we go. I think that's the first warning on the night. Callie Robb going to get just a warning. Just a warning. We'll see if that escalates through the final portions of this qualifying session. We do have one driver substitution here tonight. The issue in the Mercedes garage with Caesar not having power or access to internet right now happened so close to the race that we were not able to fill that driver position. So Mercedes may be down one driver here tonight. We'll wait and see what happens with the GSR racers. However, in the Williams garage, God Eddie Weeb is out tonight. In goes NW Israel C. So Izzy will be taking over in the Williams garage. We will see. That is a name that I am new to. I'm not sure if this is a driver who is just going by a new moniker this season. Very excited to see what I'm going to go with Izzy. It's shorter, easier to call in a minute. See what Izzy brings to the boards. But it doesn't look like they're out there right now. No time is set for the second minutes.
No, we're going to have to throw in one of those Izzy is, Izzy isn't. Only jazz people will get that one. Right?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Yeah, I'm looking in Israel, I think it's like Israel C. I'm not sure. So Izzy, I like, has only been on the server since November, so hasn't been around too long, if that's Discord's a reliable source of information in that way.
Yeah,
Unless he was here in the beginning, came back. You know what? I'll look at the giant record book.
Oh, goodness. You're going to
You
pull
can
off
think
that.
of some way to vamp.
Boom. Dust flies everywhere. Yeah, the MW, the Midwest moniker up in front, tells me that maybe someone new with no affiliation to any other racing league. Who knows? We're sleuthing on the fly. We are under, I can't see it, time. We have just a bit of time left to go here in Q1 and only. In Austria, round the Spielberg ring. Yellow flag in Sector 2 as cars yield to the faster one coming around the corner. Race day breaking his fastest lap. Set yet another one, getting him up to a 1:03.9. Got Palmer 2/10, almost 3/10 back from first place contention right now. Still out on track though. We'll see. Where is that PV? Maybe in the pits. So we've got Palmer now heading out to try and best race day one final time as we get to the tail end of qualifying here. Also want to take a second and thank our D1 stewards for season 13. Thank you so much to Knuckles, Forward 23, and Frenchie for keeping the league above board. And of course, our commissioner, Mr. Pork Chops, along with Shreya Coleslaw and Nikki. Sorry, those are the different hosts. I'm just reading whatever's in front of me on screen. Very thankful for the stewards keeping everything above board, tip top here in the league. Really excited to see the racing action here today. Like we said, got a little chippy last week with GSR Caesar and Nikki heading into a corner hot. GSR Caesar diverted from his right turn on the line and proceeded to close out the gap that was legally, should have been given to Nikki. He had closed the gap enough to allow him the right to have that open spot, but GSR Caesar illegally closed that gap and drove Nikki off the track. That then resulted in back and forth, a little heated. Everyone gets a little heated in the moments of competition here. So drivers were going back and forth in paddock chat over who was right, who was wrong. Emotions were getting a little spicy. Everything was fine. Nothing really escalated too much, but tensions were high. So looks like that energy could very well transfer over to today's race with how high speed it is. These corners are absolute rockets. So these guys are going to be pushing everything they can to get every inch over the other. And we can very well see some of those tensions, rise up, bubble up again with a few of these drivers who, one of my favorite movies is Wild Hogs. with John Travolta and Tim Liam Taylor. But one of the things, they slapped the bull on the butt, and the first person gets away with it, and the second person goes up to slap the bull on the butt. And as he's walking up to the bull, the locals look at them and say, "Oh, it'll be interesting to see what he does now that the bull's alert." And they all look over and, "What do you mean alert?" It seems like all these drivers are very alert, with shoulders being pushed out here as we get into the middle part of this season. Everyone's going to be on edge, trying to protect their space, get a little personal space up in this place, as Lancey takes a bit too much personal space, takes a trip to the beach there.
I don't know. He's not going to be happy. I think the driver in front of him was on his cool-down lap and just, and Lancey into the pit wall. Yeah, I think some frustration. He was on for a better lap, and then it looked like he was just trying to, stay clear of a driver going slow on the track and just took his toes off and wasn't going to recover that one. So not happy. Not much movement up top either with the positions. I think Race Day didn't even try to set a faster time. Got Palmer still in second, Final Flame third, Reimer in fourth. So not too much movement there near the end.
Final Flame was a last-minute seat. Final Flame does have the seat. He is a primary driver for Kick, but got off work right at 9 and then hustled home to get on for 9:30 to start today's qualifying session. So very happy to see both Kicks out on the track today. Both Saubers are going to be in action. Houdini down in 16 is going to stay there for the start of this race. But here you have it. We're going to take a look at the standings that will lead us into the Austrian Grand Prix. Week 6 of season 13 is up next. You're watching Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1 right here on Nick and Mitch. Week 6 and the story of the season is starting to take shape. Welcome back to Austria, everyone. Tempers flared last week down under, and with today's course layout, we could very much see a continuation of those conflicts. Things are definitely heating up here in Division 1. As most of you already know, Spielberg is one bad bull of a track. 3 DRS zones divvied up through the 2.7-mile circuit present a driver's playground, but a strategist's nightmare. Navigating 10 turns a lap, one wrong move will send your podium dreams up in flames. Now, I know that Mitch and I have missed a few weeks of action here in Season 13, but the stats can tell the story, even though you might not have been there to see it live. So let's take it over to the stats board and let's take a quick look at the standings so far.
Well, we tend to miss the fun ones like Spa and Australia, but last week we had Race Day claiming a victory with Gott Palmer and GSR Caesar swiping the rest of the places on the podium. So Red Bull still looks great in the Drivers' Championship, claiming the first and third spot, but then 4th through 8th, pretty darn close with all of those points. Over in the Constructors' Cup, that rockets Red Bull into the lead. They are very far above the rest of the teams, but almost everyone else extremely close. Red Bull, 131-point lead over McLaren, but then just 48 points separate 2nd through 8th. And then Alpine and Haas still in a battle for 9th and 10th, and we have 9 races left in this season, maybe 10 races. I think 9 races, so anything could really happen. So the middle of this pack is just going to keep shaking up week after week.
Absolutely. This is not a final chapter. This is anything but. This is an early season storyline, and absolutely anything could change. So with the majority of the season still ahead of us, just action abound. Folks, Lights Out is next from Austria. This is MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Look at a little overcast in Austria today. Might not be the warm track conditions that the cars really thrive in. So it could be difficult on tire strategy. Of course, tire strategy going to play a huge effect in the overall outcome of today's race. And no driver wants to see a cooler track temp than normal.
Yeah, and I just love both of the times we've taken a week off and then come back, we look at the updated drivers and, constructors championships and message them to each other. And we're so excited to see how close everything remains. And it changes so much week to week that every single point does matter. We had that at the end of the season last year where it came down to the final point between Alpine and Aston Martin for that Constructors Cup. And a fastest lap could have won it for Alpine. And while Red Bull may have the championship in a decent spot right now, I think all of the rest of the teams, it will be a bloodbath to the end. And it's going to be important for picking drivers for the following season, I believe, as well. Some things in the league, I think, do reflect on the order of the teams in the driver or constructors championship. I know it at least affects our title intro for this, where we show the 10 teams. We put the top team as the last one, like how they have Max Verstappen at the end of the credits in real life. So Red Bull, if they can hold this position, they'll be the last team shown in our intro credits next season.
Much to my real life chagrin, we can have Red Bull at the end. We have a driver who was just kicked from the session and then joined back again. And I have to apologize because I've been pronouncing his name incorrectly for multiple seasons now. And there's no excuse anymore because I actually reached out to him and said, how the hell do you say your name? He told me, and then my goldfish brain completely forgot, and I went right back to pronouncing it the wrong way. So, Sui, thank you, and welcome back. He will be starting in 6th in the Aston Martin, and hopefully that was the only disconnection issue that we have from Sui here tonight. This driver that could definitely breach the podium here from 6th.
Best part of that last week, too, halfway through, you messaged me and told me it was Sui, not Sui.
Sure did.
So then I changed it for the last half.
Sure did.
And then after the stream, you went back to the Instagram messages. I hope this isn't where they're trying to get you to see the red lights from. Good luck with this one, buddy.
Well, we're going to do what we can. Here we go from Austria. Are they up? There they go. From a mile away, we are racing. Race day on the outside. Got Palmer trying to find a lane. Quickly closed out there. Final Flame also keeping the Red Bull of Reimer back in 4th place. Front of the pack gets through cleanly through turn 1. We head now into turn 3. Drivers trying to make moves. We see the stack of the Ferraris back there in 10th and 11th now being split by the Mercedes. Callie Rob's going to have something to say about that as those two are going back and forth. It's a battle for 11th between Ferrari and Mercedes. Mercedes, for the time being, is going to hold on to that. The lone silver arrows of GSR Edwin holding strong in the middle of the pack. It's still race day's Red Bull leading lap 1 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Not far behind, though, is the McLaren and the Sauber. Both have been contenders this entire season. These are the 4 fastest on the track right now, 1 through 4 as you see it. Just phenomenal drivers in their own right. DRS has been enabled after lap 1. And it's still race day. He sets the fastest lap of the day.
We have 3 DRS zones here with 3 different checkpoints, all at the end, kind of the finish line and then through sector 1. So this is a fast one. The Red Bull's getting very close to each other. Got Palmer and Final Flame move up into first and second. Now Red Bull has the 3-4.
Yeah, not sure what happened there to race day, whether he...
I don't know, the Final Flame goes up into first now.
What on earth? You wonder if this is an early race strategy, or like we've been seeing in the chat and like you mentioned in qualifying, these cars are braking differently than they were in F123. On top of that, I guess the sound packet that they have in F124 is different than 23, and some drivers reporting that it doesn't give them enough audio information as to what's going on with their car in terms of tire noise, oversteering, and a change of track surface. So not sure what is happening there, if that was a fluke or just a racing maneuver, but we now have Kick Sauber in the lead. Final Flame setting fastest lap there after 2. And this race completely turned on its head early on. We'll see if race day can, well, first off, stave off his teammate as both the Red Bulls going side by side. Reimer gets the better of his partner. Is there something wrong with race day's Red Bull as he drops down into 5th place now as he fights to even stay up in the front of the pack?
I don't think so. It looked like, I thought the Red Bull was going to work together there with the DRS zones, but then started to get aggressive with each other once again. That's letting Alpine get in here and start to deploy some teamwork. So we'll see if race day decides to drop into the pits and fix anything, but I don't see anything major wrong with the car right now. They did get close when Got Palmer and Final Flame were able to slip through. It did look like the Red Bulls were about to touch.
Hate to see that. You hope the teammates can at least keep it clean, especially the ones that are running away with the championships as it stands right now.
And for that, they mostly just need to finish both within the top 5 or both up close to the top. The rest of the teams have that spread, like we mentioned, where people are in the top 10 and in the bottom 10.
There goes race day getting by Shreya Coleslaw's Alpine up the hill. Now we'll have to keep an eye on what these Red Bulls get up to as the day continues. On board now with Sui in the Aston Martin is dropped down 3 positions from 6th starting now to 9th. The Aston Martin fighting to try and get back up to that V-carb, trying to overtake Kate Thomas, who is one of the only drivers on the grid right now who is singing the praises of F124. Seems, I don't know, that tracks to me that Kate is the one driver who's like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. This game is awesome. Well, everyone else is saying it can be launched into the sun. I don't know, Kate just gives off that energy that, like, of course, he would be the one who's like, I don't know, pretty good game.
He's got that wild energy in him, I can
Yes.
tell you that. He's got a lot of Red Bull behind him, running that Porsche Super Cup and just bringing in those Red Bull sponsorships and giveaways. I mean, I know we got like 30 cases on the boat from the sponsors, but I think he has more at home, so he might really love this game.
Kate's fueled by Red Bull right now. Well, it's Scott Palmer who took the lead over the Sauber Final Flame. Final Flame trying to go for a bit of a bump draft there up the hill, but whatever happened really benefited the McLaren. This gap's starting to build now between 1st and 2nd. Reimer is still ahead of his teammate Race Day in 3rd right now. It's Red Bull 3-4 still. At 5, we are absolutely cruising. Here we go. Penalties starting to come in. Travis Scott's getting one for multiple warnings, presumably track limits. That's going to be a 3-second penalty. And yes, the first of the day goes to Ferrari. Presumably, I don't need to see a replay to just take an educated guess. Probably happened in turn 10.
You could just put a stationary camera at that part of the track and sit there and probably count how many times people go off track. I wonder if that ever turns into an over-under for just friendly bets or sports books. They got like, how long does the anthem go over-under?
Right.
You definitely see how many final corner infractions are we going to get at the Red Bull?
That would be a fun one to do for Austria, 100%.
You could just do that.
Honestly, you want to throw some money?
Yeah.
We can gamble. you'll be able to tell who wins just by our demeanor next week.
Is there a real race this weekend?
I believe so, yeah. A brief pause for the Olympics. They'll say it wasn't for the Olympics, but it's for the Olympics.
Yeah, I missed the last few weeks, apparently.
I blinked and I missed it. Got Palmer down into 4th now. Final Flame up into 1st, and both the Red Bulls follow suit. Not sure what happened there to McLaren. Apparently, I can't talk and watch something at the same time.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if anyone in chat
Race
saw...
shooting in the inside now. Locking up. Going wide.
Not able to hold it.
Come back into 3rd and gets bumped by Scott Palmer. He came back in front of him.
That's going to be discussed. That's definitely going to be discussed. Potential unsafe re-entry there by race day just to try and hold that position.
Not just that, that was a pretty late lunge and a dive on the inside of that corner to try and take 2 positions and then walk up and go off track. That's a tough corner to dive on.
Yeah, I know these cars, the braking is a bit lighter, but my goodness. Absolutely sent that thing down there. No consideration for the rest of the pack. So, but we are not the stewards, and we don't want to be influencing them too much. So hopefully they're not watching the stream here. We'll see how that all plays out next week. But race day getting those elbows out like we said was going to happen here in Austria. This is definitely a paint swapping kind of track. These guys are up close and personal, very intimate, very quick circuit. So not surprised we've seen it, but just disappointed.
We were way off, and the real Austrian Grand Prix was 2 months ago when we raced this at the end of season 12.
Oh, goodness.
Next race is next weekend in Netherlands. Red Bull getting up into the 1-2 now. Race day is able to get in front of Final Flame. Look at this, just a half second separating the top 4 drivers.
That's phenomenal.
Gotta get the gap to leader, because this might be 5 drivers within a second.
Wow.
8
That's
laps
phenomenal.
In. So like a fourth of the race almost.
Incredible. Now a Red Bull 1-2 Reimer still leading race day here into lap 9. They have been persistent, but that Sauber and McLaren clearly still there to try and take an opportunity. The kick goes on the inside, keeps it clean, keeps the Red Bull in, but it is race day who was able to get ahead of his teammate up the hill there. Final Flame capitalizing and almost had a recreation of the infraction that Caesar had last week in Australia, but was able to hold his line and yielded that position to the Red Bull, allowing everyone to continue racing around the corner. Great move from the Sauber. Got Palmer also up there. Both of those drivers pushing Reimer back down into 4th place. This is still anybody's race.
I'm just going to say, if this doesn't end with 2 or 3 of these cars being taken out, it'll be race of the season, and I don't know the history of this league, but if it's this close the whole race, just unbelievable. Frankly, like how many cars are stacked up right now?
I mean, it's maybe these are like residuals of the Olympic spirit, right? And we've been watching foot races for the last 2 weeks. So maybe we're going to have a 4-way photo finish to conclude the Austrian Grand Prix. I would throw my microphone out onto the front street in excitement. Just, could you imagine having to go to the time card at the end of the race to see who wins just by a nose? Oh, it would be phenomenal. And I mean, that's kind of what we're getting here, as close as you can with vehicles that are going, 200+ miles an hour.
With those 3 DRS zones all synced up, I think the long straight on the track, you're getting cars trying to go 2-3 wide, 3rd trying to pass 1st and 2nd, 4th trying to pass 2nd and 3rd, and it's just getting very, very risky. But just credit to these drivers who were able to battle. Get a good look from Reimer, who's sitting in fourth. See how the top 3 shake out going through this long section of the track.
Yeah, the heavy brakes at the end here, this is just curated chaos. I absolutely love seeing the precision flying here. It truly is. Who is this race sponsored by? I don't have that graphic.
I'm gonna guess Cake.
Yeah, fair.
I feel like half of the races were Cake.
Yeah, it's the Red Bull money. He's got that Red Bull money.
Oh, actually, it's sponsored by Frenchie.
Oh. Well, thank you very much for sponsoring today's race.
Human Action, a treatise on economics GP.
Say that again, please.
Human Action, a treatise on economics GP.
Yes. That. Thank you very much.
I'll make sure I'm not doing anything too political here.
What did we just say? Is that like a Mad Max thing?
No, like Preatis.
Oh, a treaty. So a treatise is from Dune. That's
okay, no.
Timothy Chalamet's character.
Here we go. The book is a comprehensive treatise on economic science that would lay the foundation for a massive shift in intellectual opinion that is still working itself out 50 years after publication.
Goodness. Thank you to that philosophical nightmare for sponsoring today's Final Flame. Kick Sauber is now back up into first place. I lost track of how many leaders we've had so far in the race, lap 13, and it's still an absolute toss-up as to who's going to take this one. 3 DRS zones are an absolute playground for these drivers as race day takes the inside once again, tries to get past the Sauber. Will he hold it down the straight? They are neck and neck. Final Flame trying to take the outside. Can he hold it through here? He can. Final Flame trying to stave off the Red Bull through a double right-hander. He is going to cement. He's going to keep himself up in first. What's up, Valentine? That said last lap. Oh,
their last lap. I was seeing it.
Yeah. I was very confused for a minute.
Any fun nuggets of wisdom now? Let me check penalties.
That math ain't math. Pretty easy to do the tire wear layout as well. I believe no one has headed into the pits yet. So
we have had a couple of minutes.
Oh, have we?
Well, just Sharia and the Plums have hopped on hard tires. Oh, and
AW. And now, Cake. Okay, never mind. Hey, ignore me. Most of the time.
It's a generally good. I mean, look at this flying again. We got Reimer sneaking up inside. Got Palmer trying to wait outside. I was able to set up the VR headset. PlayStation put out the adapter to use it on PC, so now I can use the PlayStation VR for iRacing, and it works in replay mode too. So when you watch the helicopter camera, that just like you can choose to stay the helicopter camera and watch an entire race. You can move your head around in VR like you're looking out the helicopter. It's insane. I would call a whole race like that.
Yeah, 100%.
And then throw up.
Yeah, right. Scott Palmer's in the pits, along with Travis Scott. Seems like an exceptionally long pit stop by Scott Palmer. Heads out now.
We'll see if that works in his favor if the rest of these guys pit. Because I imagine shake things up a bit, but he is out right behind A-Dubs. He's got a little bit of traffic to work with. Look at, it's just gets me all itchy seeing 4 cars that close together.
Oh, almost had contact there. Race Day getting very close to that back right tire of Final Flame. Seen it happen before. Race Day loves playing the aggressive driver here. You can definitely keep it clean. Let's see which flavor we get. Reimer takes. What? How did that happen? Oh, never mind. You're changing data. Reimer heads into the pits now. First Red Bull to take the plunge. Final Flame and Race Day going to stay out.
I'm trying to get to Got Palmer, but all these pit changes are making it quite the task.
There he is!
He is able to come out in front of Reimer by about 2 seconds. And is now in clean air. A-Dubs is still hot on his tail, but will have to pit. So if Race Day and Final Flame dip into the pits,
A-Dubs is already pitted. Yeah. A-Dubs was one of those early stops. So we'll see how those hards hold up.
Good. Oh, that's tire temperature. I'm not smart enough to understand that.
There we go. The second of the 2 Red Bulls heading into the pits now. Race Day going to change out those shoes. Final Flame stays out for one more. A few more. Who knows? I don't know the strat. That kicks out. We're going to enjoy the lead for as long as they can. Cali Rob gaining under DRS. He takes the lead. We have yet another driver taking the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. This time, it's the Ferrari of Cali Rob on those brand new hard compound. Final Flame still trying to get something out of those mediums. He takes the outside, huge lockup and a snap through the corner. He's going to ease off the gas, but avoids a collision with the Ferrari and lives to see another lap. Huge lockup there by the Sauber, but another equally huge recovery. Glad to see that he did not lose too much time because of that could have been awful.
It could have, and I think there was a bit of a bump, but nothing crazy. So we'll see how he goes in. I just saw what he gasped at. Race Day says temporarily left the session. We'll see if he can come back. Final Flame going to make his pit stop, see if he can hold that lead. But Got Palmer was just 13 seconds behind when Final Flame was able to pull into the pits. So I think he will come back a few behind. 2.2, not bad, but Got Palmer definitely in front. A-Dubs gets there as well.
Got Palmer was just in the pits. Why was that a double pit?
It wasn't.
No, he hit it earlier. Maybe it was a drive-through to serve a penalty, but
who?
Got Palmer.
You sure?
I believe so. Huh.
I see. You saw something else. It may have changed names around weirdly when I jumped.
Yeah, Race Day frantically requesting an invite in the chat. I need an invite pronto. Invite now. We'll see if we can get him into the game here.
I don't know if I'm friends.
Mitch is trying. He doesn't know if he's friends. Well, we are trying to do our part, but we're not friends with Race Day. I'm so sorry. PSN. It's Hammerhead, right?
Trying to get him in here. So
yeah, we're trying.
Some of my friends.
Race Day is frantic. Sorry about this, folks. Sometimes you got to do it, you know? This would be one of those instances where it would be smart for me to also have the race up on something else for me to be logged in, but I'm not that smart, so. Well, let's go back to the race for now. Probably see if he can resolve any of this. Callie Robb still leading the race. 16 laps to go. And it is currently a Ferrari McLaren Alpine podium. After we just had, I don't know how many different lead switches through the first half of this race. The pit strategies really tossed everything up. And we're still not sure definitively who has the upper hand in this race. Right now, it's Callie Robb, but who knows what 16 laps will bring.
I think Palmer was smart by pitting first because the others were battling for a while, losing a bit of time. Because we get those tires on, get some laps in. Callie Robb's going into the pits, so Gott Palmer's going to shoot into first. You can see Callie Robb just pulling into his box, so he'll come out probably 8 to 10 seconds behind this. So Gott Palmer will be in first, 8 of them in second, and then Reimer 11 seconds back. That wasn't right. Yeah, 4 seconds back from that. He was one of the him and Final Flame getting close together, but they were caught up. So you can see that's where the group of racers is all clustered now.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say Race Day was able to rejoin the race as he just set the fastest lap yet again and moved up 2 positions. So I feel confident in saying the second Red Bull is back in session. Sorry, we did wrong. Callie Robb now down into 8th after, I don't know what happened.
His pit stop.
It was a pit. Okay. Was he on hards? Yeah, he started on hards and now is in. Hi, thanks. Listen to me like 15% of the time, please.
Welcome to the race.
Yeah, hi, welcome to the race. Lap 21 to 36. Gott Palmer back in the lead, followed now by A-Dubs and Reimer. Tria Coleslaw looking to get back up in podium contention. Saw it for just a few laps there. But is now back in 4th again. Race Day on a mission, trying frantically to catch back up to this front pack. The largest gap right now is the one he's fighting to Lancey. Almost 2 seconds to go before he can contend a V-car. Bunch of corner cutting penalties that are to be expected here in Austria. Sorry.
No, I lost what I was going to say. Race day was like 1.5, so he looked like he was losing a little bit of time to Lancey. Now he's catching up again. We'll get a little bit of that throughout the track.
Biggest thing there is he does not have DRS, so this is all just driving right now. Is Lancey putting the heat on Reimer through the finish straight down into Sector 1. We'll see if E-Carb can do anything to climb this ladder as well. Keep your eyes on there as we look to Final Flame in 4th. Could he overtake coming up the hill? He does. Gets past Tria Coleslaw. Back up into 3rd goes the Sauber. Up the hill. That has been the favorite spot so far this race. That we've seen the most overtakes happening. Makes sense. It's right out of the DRS zone. You kind of just slingshot uphill into that turn. So you can really, really stay off the brakes until the very last second. Gravity's going to help you out there more so than most of the other turns here. So not surprising.
Ooh, that looked like a big chunk of something kicking up.
It really did.
Was that one of the cars up there? Was that a little game glitch that they had?
Well, it's going to be a nice souvenir for a fan on turn 7.
I did have that happen to me in my race yesterday in VR, where the car in front of me kicked up a piece of front wing and it like ricocheted off of the halo and it scared the crap out of me. Because I just saw it coming from my face and tried to dodge my head and I was like,
oh, awful. Get the haptics on the goggle and tink your eyes. Sharia really having the pace here, really trying to put some pressure on Reimer. Saw him on the down into turn 1, getting very close, and then right there, really trying to just get up on that overtake to try and reel Reimer in, at least keep him on one part of the track by getting a little parallel with him. Reimer, great defender. Be really slimy and just, you know, all over the track to try and keep that Alpine at bay.
Race day is just trying to get into that 1 second mark before we hit this DRS detection point, and he is ever so close. I don't think he's going to get it on this one. We'll see.
He may not get it on this one, but he's definitely under the time now. So race day, gonna need at least a lap. Yeah, this may be a big producing lap here for the Red Bull. Let's keep a close eye as he tries to make his way back to the front of this pack.
Ooh,
got Palmer.
No.
We got Palmer pulling away. 4-second lead on A-Dub right now. First place really separating from the pack. Those first 3 all really spreading it out.
Race day was able to get DRS on that 3rd stretch, and Cali Rob as well. So now we have 6 cars? 6-car battle starting to form in this little train.
Still scary. May not be the intervals that we were seeing in the first 10, 15 laps, but my goodness, is it still a daunting task to run your race, keep your car healthy and clean, you know, through the checkered flag. Again, these drivers are not racing with any assists on, and I'm not sure if they even have the ability to have the track line, the race line on for this race. I know they've been trying that in a few select races this season, forcing that line, the assist line, be turned off. But other than that, these drivers have full control of these vehicles, and it is way more difficult than you could imagine. Just for reference, we've been racing on SimRig, you know, not at this level, for about a year and a half now, coming up on 2 years here pretty soon. And Mitch, I've yet to get a car with no assists on. I have yet to get one off of the grid from a standing start. I can't just hit the gas and get the car started without it careening right into a wall. So no idea how to actually operate these vehicles. The fact that we have 19 drivers doing it flawlessly right now is just beyond me.
It takes all that long. Sorry. No, I was about to speak and then the yawn came out. It takes a lot of time to get that feeling down. And then you have to be confident enough to just do that for 36 laps in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, I know starting out with no assistance from other games that can get there, you know, like maybe get a lap down every 5 laps and then like maybe 3 laps in a row and then mess up. And then once you're consistent, you're not fast yet.
Right.
So this, I'm sure it takes multiple seasons to get to this level. And then, like I said, to learn the new track every week. A lot of them play different games as well. Like Cake's very active in the Porsche Super Cup. A lot of them do iRacing, so then you got to adjust to the different games. And a lot of times you're racing the same track, like Red Bull Ring or Spa, in different games in different cars, and you got to be able to adapt very quickly.
Might want to take it down to Lancy or Race Day. It's both those drivers. Race Day now within 1/10. He may have an overtake on Lancy. Will Race Day be able to get up into 6th place here after locking down, just plummeting down through the standings first and then taking his pit stop? Race Day trying to fight to get back closer to his teammate in the sake of those championship points. Big lockup up the hill there. You can tell he's really putting the pressure on right now, staying under 2 tenths.
And another big news A-Dubs has now fallen into third place as Final Flame has taken second. So Final Flame might be able to start to put pressure on Got Palmer up in front. I think Final Flame in this pack were a few seconds back from A-Dubs for a while, but they've closed that ground, and we'll see if they can close any more. Does look like
Race
Final
day.
Flame is
Wheel to wheel with Lancey, gets past the V-Carb up into 6th place, made up a monstrous gap there after the pit walls, the pit shuffle. Race day definitely back in this one. Keep an eye on that second Red Bull. He may catch up to Sharia a little sooner than we all expected, like right now. Here he goes, being bounced in between A-Dubs and everybody else. What is going on up the hill?
with the Alpines front one locked up. That would be
A-Dubs.
Are they both Alpines, or was that an Alpine and a...
It's an Alpine and a V-Carb heading up the hill. They were bouncing race day around like a pinball there. They were heading into the corner, and then they both just kind of danced themselves off the track. No big spins, no big loss of hardware, so racing will resume. Will prevail. I need to watch Always Sunny. Every time I start quoting Always Sunny a lot, it's the sign that I need to get back in for a full run.
There goes another, 4 months?
Oh, yeah. 40 brain cells. Worth it. Also worth it, Callie Robb getting that massive DRS and getting past the Alpine as we head down the stretch. Callie Robb up into 6th place now. A-Dubs dropping down into 7th. Very reminiscent of race day's early drop from the front of the pack down into the mid-section. So not sure what's going on with A-Dubs right now. Car has yet to pull off so we can possibly roll out mechanical.
I just saw Coleslaw dropping into the pits to put on soft tires, so I think he's going to try and go for the fastest lap.
Well, by default, it will be the softest lap as well. It's the comfiest lap.
Yeah, just
Here at Visa Cash App,
smooth lap. Dropped a lot of positions for that. I don't know if he also had a bit of damage and wanted to fix that and do that, or really just go for that bonus point. Now we got Reimer and Race Day. Red Bulls back in 4 and 5, looking for that podium on Lancey. Final Flame closed the second on Got Palmer.
Race Day up in 4th now.
Let's wait until all this DRS is done before we see if the computer thinks Final Flame can close this gap or not.
5 laps to go.
Tires are a bit healthier.
Wow, 12-second penalty going to Travis Scott's. That's a bigger.
Got Palmer does have 2 penalties. Final Flame is 1, so he could... A lot of drivers in this case, you can get one sneaky one where you carry extra speed for a lap. Take that hit.
Right. They were saying he could do it in 5, but I don't know. I haven't seen anyone really put a significant dent in this interval so far. It was 6 seconds. Now we're back to 4.5, but that was 10 laps ago. So, Scott Palmer really trying to put some nails in this coffin. 4 laps to go. McLaren in the lead.
I know there's one
race day. Now up in 3rd place. Red Bull sandwich Lancey in 4th. Reimer, now I spoke way too soon. Reimer and Callie Robb going back and forth in a bit of a dogfight for 5th and 6th.
There it is. 107 laps is the striking distance for
goodness
1st place. That was the stat I was looking for. That is probably not accurate or helpful.
Ooh, yeah, wow. Mitch, do you mind? Could we go down to 6th place, please? It's been a pretty good fight here this lap between Reimer and Callie Robb. Trading back and forth after DRS. Things settled, obviously. Ferrari in the lead. 4 laps remain 4 laps to go. Math is hard. Listen to me 10% of the time. It's about all you're going to get here, but the medium tires, Callie Robb still holding up in that pack. I mean, the late front pack, right? So like 4th through 8th has been so tight for this entire race. Once you get in there, it's kind of like running through a rinse cycle. You just get tumbled around, and you kind of have to find your footing where you land. A-Dubs has learned that. Race Day has learned that and since dug his way out. Kate Thomas has been there the whole time. Sui has been there the entire time. It's a bit of chaos. It's a bit of consistency. It is just consistent chaos.
And Aston Martin getting up there in the 9-10. I think that's how they finished last week, too. So they're sneakily sticking together and getting up there.
Sneaky beaky action there from the Mean Green Machines. Your podium still got Palmer, Final Flame, and Race Day in that order. Lancy is under a second from Race Day. Could very well have an opportunity here to challenge for that 3rd place finish with just 2 laps remaining.
And Coach Bob with the in-depth analysis that the undercut seems to be working for Gott Palmer. He, gained a lot of time off of that. Only risk is, how long do those hard tires last, but I don't think that's going to matter at this point. He's got quite the gap. Everyone's been battling. Final Flame has lost time. He's slipping back to about 5 seconds, and Race Day not going to make 7 seconds up in 2.5 laps unless something drastically goes wrong.
We'll be sure to cut to Gott Palmer in the final lap to give him proper camera time that he deserves. Not going to be pushing the tires as hard. When you have almost 5 seconds between the competition. Hopefully he's not locking up too hard in the corners and just kind of running his race, finishing this thing out. You don't need fastest lap. You don't really need anything. You have it all right now. You just got to get to the black and white flag. Sorry, the checkered flag. These are 2 different flags. Reimer and Callie Robb at it once again. Callie Robb now trying to play offense once again. They head up. There's a lock. Reimer takes the inside and is able to hold off the Ferrari, but Callie Robb not done yet. Still in the hundredths. He overtakes Reimer on the outside. Can he hold it? Reimer does have the desired lane, but it's not enough. Callie Robb's going to hold him on the outside there through that double right-hander as he closes him on the left. Wonderful driving from the Ferrari. Persistence at its very finest right there. A-Dubs might have a shot at Reimer as well. Keep an eye on that as we could head up to Gott Palmer, but A-Dubs so close. Yeah, let's go up to Gott Palmer. Let's watch him on his final lap. And we can head down to the closest interval now. And McLaren just making his way through the Austrian hillside. This will be Gott Palmer's 2nd win of the season, tying Race Day for overall wins on the season at just 2. Both of those drivers now will have 2 wins to their name in season 13. Next week will be in the Netherlands, the Dutch Grand Prix. They will have a chance to go up against one another yet again, as the new McLaren will beat the old McLaren, along with everybody else on the track here in Austria. Across the line goes Gott Palmer in first with the undercut strategy. It pays off for Papaya. Final Flame and Race Day round off our podium. Lancy securing that 4th place position, and Callie Robb winning the overall battle for 5th. Race Day's teammate Reimer in 6th. Still going to get some good points there for Red Bull. Obviously not the most that they wanted to take away from today's contest. But as the other drivers cross the line, Sui Sui. It's going to be hard to break. Sui started in 6th, went down to 9th, stayed in 9th for the remainder of this race, kept it clean. Travis Scott's had over 12 seconds worth of track cut penalties assessed to his Ferrari. He crosses the line in 13th. Still waiting for 4 drivers to cross the grid. But Mitch, your thoughts, as I try to stop myself from this never-ending ramble. Your thoughts on the Austrian Grand Prix?
It was very exciting up until the pit stops, where the top 4 were just non-stop trading places through the race. And then with some pit stops and some bumping up, Palmer was able to get up into a great position on that undercut. And from there on, we had some battles for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Kelly Robb climbing up 8 positions, I think, going somewhat unnoticed, just staying out for a long time at the beginning of that race on those hard tires. I think one of the few drivers to start on hards, showing that strategy was also viable with everyone having to take those pit stops. He was able to gain places, get up into 1st, and then come back out in the middle of the pack.
Absolutely. And like I said, next week we'll find these drivers in the Netherlands. It will be August 22nd, same place, same time, just in the Dutch hillside instead of the Austrian hillside. Looks like we are cutting to cams to end the night.
Maybe we gotta say our goodbye things.
That's fair. I was gonna do it right now in case. Wasn't sure if the cameras were working or not. Had a bit of technical difficulties earlier today, but we are back. And there you go. Those are your final standings pending Stewart reports. Those may change, and if they do, we will have that report for you at the front of the Dutch Grand Prix next week. Wonderful job by all of the drivers. We had no safety car incidents, no stoppages of play. So just another clean, really, really good, exciting race. I really wish the energy and the closeness of that pack kept up through the rest of the race, but what a treat it was for that first section where we had 4 drivers within 1 second of one another for 10 laps.
Very surprised at that. And not a single safety car, virtual safety car. I don't even know if there was a yellow flag in the race.
Nope.
We had it at the beginning, and that's always kind of what happens, but nothing during the race. And 10:44, I think the race ended 10:42. Quickest one, I think, by far.
Yeah, phenomenal showing by all of the drivers out there. We're going to wrap this one up so we can both head to bed. It has been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long month. Let's not kid ourselves. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you very much for watching the stream live, recorded later on, whenever. Thanks for tuning into the channel. And thank you to those subscribers who went a little bit further and they contribute a little bit of money every single month. So our YouTube members, executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with our co-producers, Killa Vapor, Captain Snowbeard, and Kirsten, and our fans and Fans Plus. If you would like to join, you can subscribe and hit join, see what all of those, perks are. But just know that it goes into the whole production on screen that you see here. Every single cent goes back into the channel for you, for us, for just the sake of gaming. So thank you very much to those who contribute. You can also contribute by punching your microphone. You can also contribute by just subscribing for free. You can hit the notification bell, be updated every time we go live with MidWest action. If you do it during the stream, you get an awesome tone, the pit tone. Come follow us, come hang out. This is pretty much what the channel is these days. Not complaining, but this is what you're getting. Big backlog if you're looking for something to dive into and you want to hear more of our voices for whatever reason. Big backlog of game content. But final thoughts?
Wow, you took almost all of that. So
sorry.
No,
I wanted to let you cruise through.
Good race. I'm excited to see how that changes the standings because it's been wild, and I don't think we have any other races that we'll miss for a while, so we'll be able to sense out how the season's going a bit more, because we've had one on, one off, one on, one off. I'm excited to see how the rest of it shakes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said earlier on, we are not even at the halfway point yet in this season, so plenty more of action to come in season 13. Stay with us as we all go on this journey together. Thank you very much again for joining us live tonight from Austria. This has been Midwest Formula One Esports Division 1 right here on Nick and Mitch. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you next week. Good night.